These are the secrets that we keep and the secrets that live inside of us.
You're hiding something behind that pretty face.
Love potion number 9.
The one that makes you go, "Grrr."
Super intuitive, very psychic.
I am your soul.
Oh my God, an incredible gift. Hi, everyone. It is Meredith, and I am with Connie Joe. Hi, Connie.
Hi there. Hi, everybody.
Today, we are going to unlock all the mysteries of the 8th house, and it is going to be so yummy.
Oh my gosh. Transformation, taxes, death, life.
And can I say the naughty one?
Please do.
Sex.
Yes, it's the house of deep intimacy. And it's also the deep psychological house where things can get really in your mind, for sure.
This is the command center for transformation.
Absolutely.
I also think this is the place where we go to heal and understand our past wounds.
This is also the house, though, of secret, but it's different from the 12th house because the 12th house are secrets that we may not even know yet. The 8th house are secrets that we do know and we usually don't share.
Ooh, that's so good. These are the secrets that we keep and the secrets that live inside of us.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, are we going to talk like this through the whole video?
We should. It truly is that transformational house that everyone dreads and everyone loves at the same time.
It does hold your fears, your nightmares, your traumas, even where you might be emotionally blocked. But we have to tell you to listen to this video in numerous ways. First of all, we're going to talk about the signs, all 12 signs through the 8th house. But I also really want you to listen to this with your progress chart in mind. If you have planets that have progressed into your 8th house, or if your solar return chart has 8th house planets in it, that's a big deal. Also,
the planet transiting the 8th house is also really important.
Everybody has an 8th house, and go look at your gorgeous natal chart. And if you don't have one, you can buy one in my shop. They are so beautiful. And go and look and see. We use Placidus. So you probably will have 2 signs in your 8th house, and you want to listen for both of them. Do you want to just dive right in, Connie Joe? One of the things that I want to say about Aries in the 8th house is I think it's really death defying. Aries shares the rulership of Mars with Scorpio. So in an odd and twisted way, it's kind of comfortable here, but it turns into a steel-like will. And I think that there is a fearlessness that is gargantuan. There's also this desire to protect itself and to protect others. I think about these people would be good as a bomb detonator. In a way, somebody who could go into the building, they have 15 seconds to detonate, the bomb, save everybody. So there's a big savior complex with this house too. Would you agree with that?
I do. And these people are not afraid to take risks. They are the ones that will, like you said, take the risk, detonate the bomb. They're the ones that will go in and with a will of steel, as you said.
Yeah, I think also that they might experience really intense trauma or wounding because you incarnated into a contract that says across the forehead, I am strong, I am invincible, don't mess with me, don't F with me, I'll take you out, I'll hurt you, you hurt me, I'll hurt you, an eye for an eye, really friggin' intense. But you got to go figure out where your Mars is in your chart. If you have Mars and Libra in the 4th house, this is still going to be true. It just might be in a quieter way.
And I think these are also people that are willing to take risks with their money because this is the house of debt. It's also the house of other people's money, which would include stocks, bonds, all of the investment strategies that people have. I think Aries on the cusp of the 8th house is not afraid to make the investments. They're not afraid to take the risk with their money or other people's money, as it would be.
And also, we have to remember that the 8th house has a really huge shadow side. Like you can see your shortcomings in your eighth house kind of glaringly, where you don't see your fourth house shortcomings. You don't see your third house shortcomings as much, but you can feel your eighth house shortcomings. So when the sign of Aries goes wrong and it's in its shadow side, this can be really misanthropic, meaning their money can be dark money. They can launder money, run their life like a mob.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, and I didn't because I was thinking it.
And they can like evade taxes. Be careful if you do that.
Yeah.
And maybe shuffle their money, offshore money, and like it's because they will take huge risks. And there's a ton of passion here. Also, I kind of wanted to say that I think these people, when they're undeveloped, if you will, or when they've just had it, they can play Russian roulette with their life. They really can. This is Russian roulette with your own life. And you want to be careful with yourself. I do think these people can gamble with their own life. And I think they can even gamble with sex. So be careful.
Okay, so if we look at this eighth house cusp, and the eighth house is the house of death, also transformation, you think about Aries and Mars and the risks they take, I'm not going to say a lot, it just leaves a lot of speculation of what kind of death the person with Aries on the eighth house might have.
Exactly. I mean, Mars is the planet of sexuality, and
Yeah.
and they could experience death by sex.
I hadn't thought about that one, but yeah.
Let's end on a positive note for Aries.
Yes, let's do.
Right. I think the most beautiful thing or the most virtuous thing is if you're with a person who is really healthy that has Aries in the eighth house or on the cusp of the eighth house. These people make incredible rescuers and saviors. They're the sentry, they're the guard, they're the bodybuilder, the strong man that truly, truly has your back and will be your backup, your bodyguard, your safeguard, your safety.
That's really good. That's a good way to wrap that one up.
Do you want to talk about Taurus? This one's interesting because it's the opposite sign.
Yes. Taurus here is security oriented, meaning because it's the house of shared assets and money and finance, other people's finances, they want that security. So there's also this sense of being prepared. Okay, so when I think about Taurus being here, I think about the person that has their will prepared, that, has everything in order, that when they pass away, that there's no questions about how things will go.
I totally agree with that. I think they're very fixed, so now we have a fixed house because Scorpio is a feminine water fixed house. And now we have the feminine earth sign in it. And so it's very fixed and it wants to, I think the reason why they have the will is they want to make sure they left a legacy that created security for those that they love.
For their family. Yes, absolutely. Also, there's such a sensuality about Taurus. And because this is the house of intimacy, I think it's a very interesting placement to have. The intimacy here is probably very sensual and feels really good. And here we go. I'm going to go a little bit to that dark side. There's a possessiveness to Taurus
and Scorpio.
Yes. So because this is the house of other people's money and shared assets, I think they get a little bit possessive about things and also about people. They could be very possessive about their significant other.
And also sex can be a commodity.
Yes.
Sex can be a resource, a commodity. This could easily be a sex worker, an escort, a paid companion, territory around that. Like these are my clients, and getting possessive about it, work, money, relationships, intimacy.
Because it's Libra rising, and I'm not trying to stereotype here, but they probably are good looking. You've
absolutely
got Taurus on the eighth house cusp with Libra rising, all ruled by Venus, and if they're not like naturally beautiful, there's something very attractive about this person.
Absolutely. That was incredible. And if you guys want to use the aspect finder to figure out what the rising sign is when you have Taurus in the eighth, This is so helpful. And I'm going to get 20 more of these to sell. They are so good. Have you ever used the aspect finder, Connie Joe?
I have not. That is so
This,
cool. I
this
wouldn't
is
have
a,
to think as hard.
yeah, this is a great beginner's tool. I love how you said that. So now they're like this double Venus, right? And I think it's kind of a magnetic beauty. It's also sort of like be careful what you wish for a little bit. I think this is extraordinarily powerful placement for beguiling beauty and magnetism. And I can also see that this is sort of like the beautiful, sinful, turning sins into beauty in some way. I don't know. Like there's this dark, magnetic, manipulative allure with this placement that can be really seductive. So hopefully it's not misabused.
Yes. And because it's fixed, I think there's a stubbornness here. Fixed house, fixed sign. I believe they may be stubborn about their secrets, their what they believe about life and death. You know, this might not be one of the signs that digs really deep into the truths of life and death. All of the Scorpio things, they might keep it more surface, but I bet you anything they're hiding something behind that pretty face.
Well, I also think that this is like, love potion number 9. I just think this is like magic love potion, a magic love serum, and a lot of eroticism, and maybe secret lovers. Maybe they don't want to tell you about their whole entire past and how it went, because they want, I think there's a sense of propriety here too, where they're not going to just let it all out of the bag. But let's talk about Gemini in the 8th house, because I think it's totally the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Taurus.
Because Taurus is the one that makes you go, and Gemini is totally different. All right, you take it, Mary.
Gemini in the 8th, I think, is the solver of all the mysteries in life, the magician in a way that can do, the quick card trick where you were like, what? And I think that Gemini is so open-minded that this is the fortune teller, before the fortune teller was integrated into regular society, like where you go to the parlor and in the basement at the madam's house, and she would tell the fortune and communicate with spirit. So this is spiritual communication that creates transformation. And I think this person is like so curious about the occult, about sexuality, about finances and money, but not in a way that is maybe as attached to it as Taurus for creating security, maybe attached to money through knowledge in somehow, like really wants to use their mind to earn their money, to earn their security. And I think they like partnerships where there isn't inequity inside partnerships. Like I do you, you do me. So these people seek not a financial power over another person like Taurus. Taurus might actually have on their list that you need to earn a certain amount of money for me to be involved with you. Like I don't date anybody who doesn't make less than 10 million, annually.
Right.
Where Gemini is just like, you got your bases covered, I got my bases covered. And then sexually speaking, I think this is really experimental sexually. So maybe orgies, maybe bisexuality, maybe I've only been married to men my whole life, and then all of a sudden I want to try something different. One of the least possessive and least jealous signs for this very possessive house. So that's kind of interesting too.
Well, and it's also interesting that typically this would be Scorpio rising that has Gemini in this placement. So I think these people, as curious as they are so curious, but they are able to keep secrets. Now, would I normally say that about Gemini? If you had a Gemini sun or something, I would say probably not, because you want to be social and talk about everything. But I think they can keep their secrets here because of that Scorpio rising, that they're able to dig in and find out information. Not as analytical as Virgo, maybe, but there's this innate curiosity that makes them want to know everything about the occult, about sex, about your psychological problems. they want to dig deeper.
Absolutely. And I think this is the researcher. I also think this
Yeah.
I don't know where Stephen King has his.
We need to look that up.
Yeah, we got to look at his chart. But this could be sort of the murder mystery writer, or
Yeah.
the spy novelist, or the writer of this also is very much the whistleblower. Just if it's going to help
Ooh.
transform life in some beneficial way. So it might not be the gossip who's going to blab all the secrets, but maybe telling the secret if it benefits the system. Gemini here in the 8th house can actually shine a light on the secrets to disseminate the information. So it's kind of interesting.
And wouldn't they be great to think about this? Scorpio rising, probably. Gemini 8th house cusp. Would they be able to cheat on their taxes and get away with it?
Well, they might probably, but they also could be kind of sloppy, like if they're too busy, but yeah, they probably could really hide the numbers and do the math in a way, right? Absolutely. Yeah. I think these people are the talk dirty to me. What's the song? Can you sing it for us, Connie?
Talk dirty to me.
Like talk dirty to me, right? And they can be like the telephone sex operator.
Yes.
Well, do you think we ended on a high note for Gemini? Do y'all feel good about yourself with Gemini in the 8th?
I love Gemini.
You guys are going to have to leave us a comment and tell us if you can relate to this. And also, I just want to tell you, if you feel massively confused about how to read your chart and you're new to the channel, well, first of all, welcome, but you can watch my video playlist called Astrology 101. I have a playlist there. Or you can get a reading with Connie Jo or myself, and you can find the link in the notes below if you want a live reading. Okay, let's talk about Cancer.
So Cancer being a water sign, I think that a lot of these people have a pretty high emotional IQ, and they're pretty good at analyzing psychological stuff, not with their mind, but with their heart or with their emotions. They're able to have this understanding of 8th house issues. But I think also, Meredith, that there's a little bit of fear there, because we think about the moon. The moon, unlike the sun, doesn't illuminate everything. It leaves things in shadows. And of course, Cancer rules the moon. So it's like, I think there's a few things there that are a little shadowy, having Cancer there, that makes that person, usually a Sag rising, want to dig to that deeper psychological side, to really sink their teeth into it and find out more on their own, the mysteries of life and death for them, because I think this sign fears death a bit. So to dig in and learn and have some of that revealed, have a full moon there, so you really can get the full light of the situation. I like this placement, yet at the same time, I really do think it can bring a bit of fear about the transformation that can happen here.
Oh, absolutely. And I also think that they have a deep, deep intimacy with the process of death and losing their family. And there's deep attachments to family here too. Even though it's Sag rising, I think there is deep attachments to family money, family legacy. It's hard to cut the umbilical cord fully. Oftentimes I see a giant inheritance. I feel like that can even go to the mother's side of the family. And I also think of this as the hospice worker, like I'll help you die. And maybe even the benefic witch, the good witch.
It is a bit magical, isn't it?
Yeah, super intuitive, very, very psychic. Wow. And this might be the clairsentient person who just feels the feelings, right?
Yes.
And can have like emotional overload, so deeply connected. When these people give you their heart, like take care. It's like a Fabergé egg.
Yeah.
It's there's a fragility with their vulnerability if they're willing to get vulnerable.
Well, that's what I put in it's funny, I had that in my note. These people are private. I mean, this is my placement, and I'm private about most everything. I share a little bit.
It's kind of an interesting combination. It's an interesting sandwich because it feels wide open with Sag rising, but you realize it takes a long time to get the real intimate details.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. So the intimacy is definitely there, but I think just like the moon itself, it's kind of exclusive. It only shines its light on just a few.
absolutely. And I also think this is a good secret keeper. But the moon is really important to go look at because the
Yes.
kind of dance your moon is doing with the eighth house really will show you if you're going to be more extroverted or introverted, or if this is comfortable and at ease or in a challenge. So, where is your moon if you have Cancer on the eighth house? Because this really will say a lot about you. And, not every Cancer in the eighth house is going to be the same because every moon is different.
Absolutely. And you know what, Meredith, really this goes for every sign on the eighth house, that wherever the ruler is located, totally can give it a different flavor. So you kind of have to look at all of it to see what's going on.
Absolutely. Okay, so Leo on the eighth house cusp, it's kind of an interesting place for Leo
Yes.
because it means your sun is the ruler of the eighth house. So,
Yeah.
your sun can be in any of the 12 signs, but let's just talk about just Leo on the cusp or in the eighth house. And I think that this creates massively creative energy that can work at this transformative level. So, have you seen a movie that completely and forever changed your life and you will never be the same again? That's Leo in the eighth house. So, for me, that would be Sophie's Choice or Schindler's List. For you, it could be Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or it could be Star Trek.
Magnolias, still magnolias.
Steel Magnolias. Yeah, right. I mean, so that creative power where you've listened to a song or you've seen a movie,
Yeah.
Avatar was like that for me too when I first saw it. Like, wow, it just so blew my mind
Yeah.
that I can never be the same again. So, transformation through the creative process. But these people, when they are healthy, these people are so unafraid to dig down into the depths of their soul and figure out the question, who am I really? You know,
Yeah.
who am I? And how do I want to grow in this lifetime? What do I want to figure out the mysteries of life that will help me transform and grow my creative powers and my self expression? There's oftentimes a legacy left of money from the father's side because that's the son. And then sexually, I want to say that there's a lot of role play, domination here, dominatrix, domination, where you dress up in costumes and,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that too. And sometimes I will say that I think with this placement, it's hard for these souls, and you guys will have to tell me if you want to put this out there, to take sex super seriously, meaning I think they feel better in a role of some sort around their sexual expression, especially if they are a fire sign. Now if they're a water sign, that's different, and maybe even earth sign, but an air or a fire sign, sun sign with Leo in the eighth, I think it's easier to have a little bit of the disassociation of the intimacy that could swallow them up in the flames and just have a
Yeah.
little bit of a role.
So typically this would be a Capricorn rising. My key word for this placement is confidence. I feel like there's a real confidence about having Leo on that eighth house because it's ruled by the sun, that you have this natural confidence about investments, about who you want to be intimate with, about even your psychological self. You perhaps you dig deeper, but you may feel like you don't even have to because you have that natural creative confidence there.
Absolutely. And I think they're also really friggin' good with money. Like, this is a money
Yeah, me
making.
too. Me
They're going to
too.
inherit probably money. We'll have to look at the whole chart to really see that. There's just a lot of opportunity for money and investments, and like big
Yeah.
investments. Like, I don't know what Reese Witherspoon's deal is. I don't know her chart at all, but God, she's a genius businesswoman. And she just sold
Yeah.
clothing enterprise that she's had since I don't know how many ever years ago, but she just sold it for a ton of money. So this is like the really smart business person with big investments, not little ones.
Y'all, I look at the eighth house if I'm thinking about if someone says real estate, I connect that eighth house and fourth house and look at it together. And I honestly think this placement would be a really good realtor, selling properties.
Yeah. And probably luxury properties. There's a luxury aspect to this, not selling them the van down by the river.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, you want to take on Virgo?
Yeah, the first thing I say about Virgo is I love the way the ascendants are in a quincunx to the eighth house. It makes it so interesting because I really think Virgo here is a great financial advisor. Now, this is probably the person you want to do your taxes. And because they're probably Aquarius rising, they can figure out a very creative, possibly rebellious way to do your taxes that it's still legal and you don't pay as much. So there's something very practical about having Virgo here where I think they want to understand the issues of life and death. They want to understand it in a very practical way. I can also see this placement being the hospice worker, as you were talking about Cancer, because of the practicality of it, that they would go in and just naturally do the physical things that needed to be done in order to make a person feel more comfortable. Virgo is a lady on the street, but the freak in the bed. So this is like intimacy turned freaky. Just saying.
I always say I want my lover and my car mechanic to be Virgos.
Because you don't expect it from Virgo. And then it's like, that's what I'm saying. You don't expect it. And all of a sudden, the black lights are in the room and you look around and there's a swing. And
I have to tell this Virgo in the eighth story. So I have this dear friend. She won't care that I'm telling this at all. She said, do you guys want a tour? She took all of her girlfriends. There were like 5 of us. Do you want a tour of my house? And we were like, sure. And so she started us off in her bedroom. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like a fairy princess land in there with a canopy bed and all this. And then I kind of wandered. I just wanted to see inside her closet. And I went into her closet and it's these like 80 pairs. They're like, I mean, I was in Mariah Carey's closet, I swear to God. But she's not wealthy, but she invests in stiletto heeled shoes that are like leopard and leather and crocodile and red and blue and orange. And I'm like, what the hell? I go, where? I've never seen you wear these. Where do you wear these? Where do you wear these, Cindy? And she goes, right over there to bed.
It's perfect.
And then she said, do you want to see something else? I said, I want to see everything. She opens up her drawer from her dresser. And I swear it's perfect Virgo. You should see my drawer. Perfect Virgo, all in a line. She's got every kind of bra you could imagine. It's like Victoria's Secrets. I'm not joking. And drawer after drawer after drawer. Like,
you nailed it. That's it. These are the people that could do your taxes, get in your head psychologically, and then freak you out in the bedroom all at the same time.
Yes, yes. I think this person would be also a phenomenal, like, barmaid, bartender, because they're service oriented. And also I think
they're good listeners.
Yes. Yes. I also think a death doula, like you said, a hospice worker. But one thing is I think these people love serving others in the greatest time of need.
Yeah.
So like the bartender, that's also the therapist making you
the
perfect
absolutely.
cocktail. And, like, I see you, I hear you, just there's a depth to their ability to heal through listening and conversing and talking. And there's a magic in this one. It's kind of like getting the understated gift at Christmas or for your birthday. And you're like, okay, I'll open this up. And you open it up and it's like, oh my God, an incredible gift. The gift is better than the wrapping, which in my life is very rare.
Yeah. Another note I made about Virgo was wisdom. I think these people are very wise, like with their investment, with the way they handle eighth house matters. Possibly they don't go to the extremes of Taurus with their will and having everything in order, but I do think this is a very orderly placement that they do prepare for the end of life and how that will go for their loved.
We haven't talked about this too much, but we can look to this house to also see the end of life.
We can.
And I think these people could be the person who gives you your last morphine, lets you slip out, your pain management, your Dr. Kevorkian. Yeah, I think there's a detachment with Virgo, but also a presence. I don't know how to say it, like clinically detached or more clinical than emotional, but caring. It's a really interesting combination, isn't it, Conjo?
It is.
How they're so present for you, going to serve you. They're not going to override your wishes.
That was really good.
Okay, let's talk about Libra here. It's another Venus placement in a Mars house. So it's interesting.
These people want a partner. So shared assets are definitely part of who they are, this is Pisces rising. So there's definitely spirituality there.
I think there's a love magic, and intimacy can not just be for sport. This is not going to be sport effing. This is going to be, love. And
this is like the tantric or the Kama Sutra placement.
Yes. Yes. And also, I feel like you can have this is the art of love making, the art of loving another person and having a transcendent quality to it. And I also think this is deeply attached to beautiful lovemaking, beauty. I think they want a beautiful partner that is sort of the quintessential representation of their desires. I mean, I think you really need to bring it for Libra in the 8th. You got to bring it. There's such an emotional desire for a shared connection, and they're going to get and receive probably to the same degrees. But I do think these people kind of could be a little bit on the shadow side, addicted to glamour, addicted to the power couple, addicted to luxury, or, they could get swept away in believing money can buy me love. I think this could be the gold digger, like literally sugar daddy gold digger. If we were to be, I don't know if we were like negatively fair to all signs. My Libra is asking me, were we fair? Did we rip on everyone?
Exactly what they would say. And that's why I think this placement would be a great marriage counselor, sex counselor, because harmony and fairness are at the top of their list. I say this about Libra all the time. They are such a balance of the masculine and feminine. So they have a high emotional IQ regarding both. So to be a marriage counselor, whether you're same sex or opposite sex, it doesn't matter. They would be very good at seeing the balances and what's out of balance.
Yes. And I think this placement is really going to deepen Libra. This is going to give Libra more depth.
Yeah.
So if you are a Libra and you have your planets in the 8th house, you're probably not going to be as superficial as a lot of the other Libras that because it really adds a desire for truth and depth when you're developed.
100%, because balance is so important to a Libra. I do think that they want to understand the transformation, the life and death. If they can get past that kind of surface level that you were talking about, what stands out to me more than anything about Libra is the balance, and that they really, truly want to be fair. I mean, down to the last jelly bean.
If you have this here and you're one of 5 kids, you probably did get 1/5 of the inheritance. So if you were the favorite child, and you probably, were not the executor of the estate because they hired the bank to run it. It's like, we're too fair. It's like, damn it. But I also think this is sort of an easy death, and
me too.
Like you're surrounded by your loved ones and beautiful flowers. And I think this is like kind of a peaceful, easy feeling to go
There is a
on your way
beauty
out.
about it.
What?
I think you're right. There is a beauty about it. I agree. It's a different feeling than its opposite sign, Aries,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I would like to say, I don't have this placement, but it's like, can you please bring me the flowers, all those flowers, and fill up my house with all those flowers before I die?
Yeah, same here, my friend. My husband buys me flowers every week because I just love them. I love fresh flowers.
We
So,
love that. It's like we want them when
yeah,
we're alive, not when we're dead.
exactly.
What about having Scorpio here? So that makes them an Aries rising and Scorpio. So
This is the super investigator. And it's like they can dig into your head, dig into your sex life, dig into your taxes, dig into your debt. This person can go deep in any of those matters. It's the natural placement for to have Scorpio here, and their investigative powers cannot be understated. They are probably really good with money, handling other people's money. This is the person that can keep all of your secrets. Seriously, they can, unless they get pissed off at you, and then beware that all may be exposed. I'm joking, Scorpio, but there is something so deep to this placement. Could this be the psychologist, psychiatrist? Probably. Intimacy in the eighth house isn't just sex, especially for a Scorpio. If they get into your head, it's like this exchange of sexual power.
it's really magnetic. It's super intoxicating. And I think it's super magnetic and even magical. But I
Yeah.
think these people do not take no easily. Like they are going to persist and get their way. So there's a great deal of master manipulation with this combination.
Oh, yeah.
And manipulation isn't always a bad thing. You can manipulate things to change its form, right? And then you can be criminal in your manipulation. But this is like sort of the other version when we were talking about Aries in the eighth. This
Yeah.
is sort of mob boss also, where
Yes.
it's phenomenal at taking the perfect risk. These are the people that are at the perfect time in the perfect place where they hit the stock. They're
That's
like,
what I was going to say.
yeah, they're like employer
Yeah.
number 33 at Microsoft. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I working in the mail room as, employer 45 at Microsoft? And then I would have been a billionaire, right? That's
Exactly.
displacement.
Not only do they investigate, they use that information sometimes in a manipulative way
Yep.
to get what they want.
Great business people. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think they could also mix business out of sex.
Mixed business with pleasure. Yes.
Yeah. Mixed business with the casting couch. This is the great manipulator. I'm not joking. Like,
Yeah.
they sort of, okay, so I really want to read this book called Once Upon a Secret by Mimi Alfred. The reason why I want to read this is it's all about the sexual affairs of John F. Kennedy. And he was a Gemini, but he abused his sexual charisma so much so that Mimi was an 18-year-old intern. She slept with President Kennedy almost every single week in Jackie Onassis's bed, Jackie Kennedy's bed. But
wonder what her eighth house was. Anyway.
Right. So I want to do this whole synastry. But what I want to say about this is this reminds me of this placement in the sense of she said it was not rape. It was consensual, but I was 18 and he was, I don't know how old, 30 something? I don't know. She said he made me want to be with him, even though I knew it was wrong and I really didn't want to be with him. He made me want to be with him. So she says, who says no to Mr. Kennedy? Nobody says no to Mr. Kennedy. And nobody did. And he had tons of affairs. Anyways, I can't wait to read the book. I want to read the book. Don't you think that is Scorpio?
Yes, because I think they are innately sexual. And it's not like, okay, I used to say this all the time, Taurus might say, I own you. Scorpio, I own your soul, as they're looking in your eyes, That's the feeling you get. Like it gets that deep. It gets into your psyche, that psychological side of you.
It probably even goes to the place where it's not that the person says, I own your soul. It's the other person says, and you own my soul.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it really, there is
Like
really
they
depth to it.
they convince you to give yourself
To them.
to
Yes.
succumb. It's so persuasive. Did we do it fair and balanced? My Libra
We got lost in there. I just want to reiterate that these are brilliant business people for the most part and know how to handle finances and other people's finances in a way that makes you more money.
Yeah, and I do think that they've got your back and they will save you, and there's
Sure.
a savior quality, and also they'll hold the safe place for your secrets, and they are the greatest transformers, I think, out of all of the signs because they own this house. This is their natural territory.
It definitely is.
If you're lucky enough to have this placement, it means you have the natural zodiacal wheel at your back.
Yeah.
So your life is pretty effing cool. So I want to know who you are and what the hell are you doing with your life if you have this placement. We want to give permission for in the comments to write about all of your secrets on this video.
We want to know.
And I want to take this minute to just invite everybody to like and subscribe. It's free to do so, but also come and join our community and you will get all our behind the scenes videos, only $2.99 a month if you want to become a super supporter. And I am doing a Scorpio masterclass on November 5th. And if you can't come to it, you can buy it at a later time, but it's going to go deep, deep, deep into the 8th house and into Scorpio. And it's free if you are a superstar super supporter. And if you're a super supporter, you get it at a massive discount. So come join this community because there's tons of perks that you get. You can check out everything in the notes below. Okay, Connie Jo, let's talk about Sagittarius.
Oh, let's do. I love Sagittarius. This is Taurus rising. Meredith, I think most of all with Sag here, is truly a deep desire to expand your knowledge around psychology, to look within to see why we act as we do, that very psychological aspect of the 8th house, looking into life and death. I mean, I feel like this is the person that would actually do research on the aspects of living the best life and dying the best death because they're optimistic. They want to expand their knowledge.
I love this, Connie Jo. I love how you said that. That was prophetic and profound. I also think that these are the people that want to go on a transcendental exploration, out into the cosmos, into where did life begin. They want the gory truths. They want to understand maybe even otherworldly life and the creator, maybe be one with God in a sense. Because Sagittarius is, in the olden days, we said ancient astrology, Hellenistic astrology, we said religion. I think it's metamorphosed now into philosophy and spirituality. Yeah. Existential truths, like we're born alone and naked and we die. Like the existential truths about life and getting down into big questions that affect us in a deeply personal way. Think about the expansiveness of Sagittarius and how far out they can go, and then applying it to the narrow scope of Scorpio.
There is a deep desire to expand the knowledge they have. And when it comes to the 8th house, it's a deeper knowledge. It's not mercurial. It's Jupiterian.
It's philosophical.
Yes, where they really want to understand the spiritual truth.
Yes. And I think a deeper knowledge for a higher calling.
Yeah.
Go within and so much deeper to understand its highest self, biggest availability to themselves while being earthbound. It's kind of painful because Sagittarius doesn't really want to be constricted, and trapped. And Scorpio is kind of constricted, restricted, and a little bit more trapped energy because it's so focused. And so it's Sagittarius is uncomfortable here, but sort of in a sweet, succulent, painful way. It's like making friends with the melancholy.
It is because when you have to come face to face with major transformation, life and death issues, or even intimacy. Okay, so let's think about it. Sometimes Jupiter doesn't want to get intimate because it's constricted. It keeps you pinned in a bit.
Yeah, it keeps you pinned under.
Yeah, girl.
I think this is like the country music song where, I'm broke, I lost my lover, drinking whiskey in the back of a truck, and
My dog died. Yeah.
and making it a damn good time. I felt so damn good after I sang that damn song.
Have another shot. Yep. I agree with you. Psychologically, I think there's a need to go deeper, to have a deeper understanding of the issues of the eighth house. They want to go deeper. Now, they may not go deeper in a personal way, but they don't mind taking a friend deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they would do the work. I think they would do this deep work for the benefit of other people, and then it benefits them. Like they're going to do the documentary on ancient civilization and alien life and how the pyramids were really built. I don't know if they're particularly great with money. I mean, maybe, but that's kind of a crapshoot, right? Or do you think it's
Sagittarius is a gambler, so yeah, for sure.
Don't you think we're going to find these people down at the casino? One more. Ching, 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 ching.
Oh, I would hope so. That's my own chart. Yeah.
I remember my boyfriend at the time took me to Reno. I've never been to Reno, right? And he's like, I'm going to go play craps. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go play $1 on
slot machine.
On the slot machine, the Wheel of Fortune one, just because I want to hear it say Wheel of Fortune. Right?
Yeah.
So I feed the dollar in. I'm there for 3 seconds. I feed the dollar in and I pull the thing, and literally it goes, it lights up cherry, 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 cherry. I don't know. I got 7 cherries or something. And the thing lights up, the bells, Wheel of Fortune. I'm like, no way. And I made $100. I was like, okay, I'm going to go home now. I was there for 3 seconds and I kept my $100. And my boyfriend said, don't you want to play more? I was like, hell no. Do you know, I am not stupid. I know I'm not winning another $100.
Meredith, here is the difference between a Sag sun and a Sag moon. The Sag moon says, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to play more.
You're like, I can double this 100.
Yeah.
I just bought all the drinks, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Capricorn here. I think this is very serious shit with Capricorn here.
Well, I do too, because there are a lot of similarities between Capricorn and Scorpio. Capricorn and Scorpio, they usually don't have surface relationships. Are they sexy? Are they sexual? Oh, hell yeah. But at the end of the day, they're looking for something deeper. Trust me on that. They want something real. So when you've got Capricorn here, you really have, let's put Capricorn in Scorpio's house, and you've got this person that knows the financial market, knows how to handle money. They have this natural ability to follow the stock market, the real estate world. They can do all of that, and don't let they don't call Capricorn the horny goat for nothing. Let me just tell you.
Yeah,
there's a reason for that.
And I think they want to sort of be the perfect lover. I think there's a desire to be very successful at making love, at sex, at understanding sex. But I think it's kept, like, they don't kiss and tell, it's kept very private. And if we were famous and we were together and I had Capricorn, in the 8th, and you went and sold our story to People magazine, you will not live to see the next day.
Yep, you're right.
Right? Like, absolutely. I think fear, it's deep fear and around being exploited.
Yeah. Well, and this is Gemini rising usually. So this is a smart person. We're talking about a very intelligent person that has a really deep understanding of some of these 8th house issues. And no, you don't tell their secrets. No.
Yeah. But with Gemini rising, they might tell yours. only if they're unhealthy. And it depends where the Mercury is. But here, Saturn is ruling this house, and Saturn wants to be respected and taken seriously. And they probably are going to pick a person who has a wisdom or a maturity or is older, or comes with money, clout, status, success.
Yes.
They're attracted to being a power couple. But I think this could be a millionaire easily, like
Oh, yeah.
just phenomenal at growing wealth.
Think of Jupiter more as the money planet, y'all, but Saturn is the one that's father time. This is the one when we do our Saturn work, and this is why when I read charts, I read a 20-year-old's chart really differently from a 40-year-old's chart. They've gone through their Saturn return. Time makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Will it take more time for them to find an intimate relationship? Will it take more time for them to build up an inheritance to leave their entire family? Maybe, but it'll happen.
Anybody who hasn't gotten a reading from Connie Jo, you really should get on her calendar. She is absolutely amazing. And I was just telling her today before this video that I think one of the things you are truly exceptional at is synastry. So understanding how your chart works with a partner's chart and understanding a person's relationship to their eighth house will show you how they are conditioned or prone to intimacy with you. And so it's really important not just to understand your own eighth house, because this is the house of partnerships in a way, intimacy.
It
is. And so
is.
you want to understand someone's eighth house.
When someone's planet falls into your eighth house, it is so significant because it's falling into your house of intimacy, deep psychological issues, and also shared assets. When I look at a synastry chart, that's actually one of the things that I look for if there's planets that fall into that very deep eighth house.
And what's really interesting, it just as a personal share, my husband's Venus falls into my eighth house. That is such a neat point that you bring up, because it does bring me such a sense of comfort that I haven't always had around eighth house issues.
I love that. Well, let me share as well. My husband's moon falls into my eighth house. It has actually caused me to go deeper into the psychology, the occult, astrology. So it's so interesting, y'all, to do the synastry and look at the eighth house.
And one thing I think about your husband from just the very first nanosecond I met you is he is such a truly emotional support system for you.
Yes.
When you and I were talking about working together, I asked you, do you have a partner? And you said, I have an amazing partner. And then I said, how does he feel about you doing this kind of work? Because that is important, to have a partner that can allow you to do, work that maybe is going to rattle your family or mainstream world or society or put you out on YouTube. He might not want you to be put on YouTube, right? And you said he loves it for me. Yeah. If I'm happy, he's happy. And that's really a moon in the eighth house synastry aspect.
Yes, emotional support. You are absolutely right.
Let's talk about
Aquarius.
Oh, yeah.
They approach the eighth house with a tiny bit of rebellion. Aquarius does not want to be like everyone else. Truly, they want, and not to just show their differences for differences' sake, but because most of the time they're probably more evolved than the rest of us. They actually have grown in their spiritual walk or whatever knowledge they wish to acquire in a way that the rest of us haven't done yet. Aquarius is special. When it comes to eighth house matters, I don't think they do anything in a traditional way, Meredith. I don't think they do intimacy in a traditional way. I don't think they do the deep dive into the psyche in a traditional way. And like when it comes to matters of life and death, I also think they choose to do that differently.
And isn't this Cancer rising?
It is.
Yeah. So I think they are very innovative and clever and highly intelligent when it comes to using other people's money.
Yes.
very resourceful about getting you to invest in their next innovative project. You can be part owner, you can be a stockholder, and they're going to find multiple streams of income here. And I think there, some things are going to work and some things aren't, but I think they're really good at getting other people to invest in their work.
And if you want someone to come up with a really innovative way to avoid paying your taxes, this is probably your person. They're very intelligent. They know how to do this.
I think it's called, Connie, creative financing.
It absolutely is.
I'm making up my own rules.
Yes. And they could own a company called Uranian Taxes. How to do it the Aquarian way. I mean, really, don't you think?
That's how they get on the IRS's like red flag list for sure. Uranian taxes.
Exactly. When it comes to intimacy here, now you would think with Cancer rising, they would be good at intimacy. I think it may be a little more difficult for this placement to enter into the depths of sexual intimacy. When you get them there, oh my God, you found a beautiful diamond, right? But I think they're a little bit slower to enter that realm.
And I think one of the ways that plays out, because I have a client with this position and it's really, really strong, is that they find themselves attracted to the unavailable partner. So intimacy doesn't even have a chance. Because the Cancer rising is just so protective, so self-protected, depending on what's going on, with what planets and all of that. But there is a deep, compelling, and magnetic, seductive attraction to that which they cannot have, dominate, understand, control, that which is so different. My client is perpetually attracted to people who are the complete antithesis socially, ethnically, culturally, educationally to her.
That's the rebellion I was talking about.
Yeah, you're right. And her whole family is like, what are you doing? Like, you cannot bring this guy home. Well, so she doesn't. She has him sort of hidden in her basement.
I do think they have the ability to connect with the universe, to have this spiritual connection that is unlike, I almost wanted to say unlike the rest of us humans, but it's kind of like that for them. Meredith, they almost connect on a higher level.
I would agree with that, because I think this is the person who really can fall in love with the soul of another person. They don't need the body experience. They need the soul experience.
Exactly. I agree 100%. It's like when, that old Black Crow song, She Talks to Angels.
Sing it for us, Connie Jo. We're gonna do karaoke here soon. We got a lot of songs playing.
I'm not even going to attempt it, but look it up, y'all. It's a cool song, but this is what it reminds me of. She Talks to Angels. It's like you're almost on a different realm when it comes to the deeper things of life, where the deeper understanding of life and death. It's like, I think this person automatically understands the life and death cycle, the transformation cycle. And to be quite honest, Meredith, where maybe a Cancer here fears death or has a fear of that unknown, I don't think this placement fears death.
You probably have to look at all of those planets to know. But one thing I was going to say is I think they might have a larger concept of it. So that could help the fear, like they might believe in the magic of the soul's ability to communicate. They see the hummingbird and they know it's grandma.
Or they see the cardinal and they know it's grandpa. I mean,
exactly. So I do think there is a connection to the otherworldly, to the eternal soul. It's very interesting. It's kind of like a Sagittarius a little bit, because I think they really can go out into the cosmos and then they can apply that at a very personal level with the Cancer rising.
Yeah.
But one thing is sometimes you see these people, the money piece to this is very erratic and unpredictable. So sometimes they're left a fortune they didn't know about. Sometimes they're left no fortune. Sometimes they were left a fortune that was spent before it reached them. sometimes they're left the house that the person didn't put in the will and it went to probate and they never got it because the state said no. Just a twisted conundrum around money or legacy or inheritance, I should say.
Well, I mean, you are looking at Uranus and Saturn as the ancient ruler. So boy, those planets are so conflicting. Meredith, we need to do a series about Aquarius and Saturn and Uranus sometimes because that is, it's like the sordid tale of,
right.
of Aquarius,
Oh, Connie, that reminds me, everybody's asking for us to do round 2 around the zodiac with the planets. I don't know if we have it in us. If you guys haven't seen our houses 9, 10, 11, and 12, please go watch them. Please go watch this whole series. Look at this in numerous ways so you can start synthesizing your own astrological chart and your loved one's charts in a more realistic way.
Yes.
Okay, let's wrap it up with Pisces.
Pisces here, because I think Pisces ruled by Neptune, Jupiter, there are very few boundaries. So this can go several different directions, don't you think? I mean, this is Leo rising. Are there boundaries with other people's money? Oh, maybe not. Are there boundaries in their psychological makeup? Maybe not. I think these people are definitely able to go deep into their own psyche, deep into the psyche of others. I think they don't mind spending money of other people's money if it's there. I mean, it's the Pisces no boundaries thing that they're able to do that. But they're also able to connect on a very intimate level with the psychological. This is actually another placement, Meredith, where I think that there would be good counseling abilities here because there is Pisces has such, they may not have boundaries, but they have such compassion. There is a true compassion for other people, and they are able to listen to some of the most sordid details of eighth house scenarios that have happened.
I also think these are the hardcore romantics with Leo rising and Pisces here. They're also sort of addicted to the false gods that we were sold a bill of goods around what a knight in shining armor is supposed to be, and then what it actually is.
The Snow White story,
and the Snow White, Cinderella, and I think this can be a soul crushing placement when life does not deliver out the fairy tale, the romance, the Neptunian promises you made me, God, and not being able to get it on the terms that they thought they were going to have it on. So the disillusionment of dreams is really like a death here. I mean, it is.
Well, because they are able to dream so big with that Neptunian spirit, but then when the dreams don't work out the way they want, a soul crushing was a pretty accurate way to put that, I think.
And then when this spirals into darkness, there is such a desire to escape the pain of the Leo rising life, not being glamorous, and the Pisces glamour not occurring, like when things don't pan out, that they turn to deception, maybe sex, maybe codependency inside relationships, maybe having sex with people that are using them, drugs, alcohol, any escapism to just not have to deal with it because the pain is just so excruciating. Pisces feels it to the soul level. Scorpio feels it to that and then beyond. And it's suffocating. It's just so painful. And you feel like you're all alone on literally, this is double water on the bottom of the ocean floor with only yourself, Leo rising, to take care of you. And the loneliness is just the severance from the dreams or from the life they thought they were going to once have is just so alienating.
Yeah.
So alone.
Wow.
Just this is really dark. So I always see Pisces as go down to where the Titanic is, right? Go down to the deepest part of the ocean floor with no lights. And that is Scorpio Pisces. Now sit there with yourselves. Sit there with yourself. No, thank you.
Exactly. But being the Sag rising that I am, I have to put a positive spin on that. This would be an amazing actor because when you're left with only that, Meredith, all you have left is your imagination, your own psychological power. I can see this person being able to take on a character and be damn good at it.
I love that. And that's the chameleon. And I think that that is also Leo is the actor and Pisces
Yeah.
is the chameleon. And I think that that is really true. And I think that that kind of saves them a little bit here. You're right. And if they can create a creative outlet, it can be magical. They could bring the world to their knees, like Pavarotti singing or Andre Bocelli. Yeah. Like stir the world, with that energy. But it's really important. It's really, really important that these people stay in the very best versions of themselves and to not allow life to completely devastate them and take them out when it just doesn't turn out exactly the way it was promised to them in the book or in the movie or by their parents, right? And it's kind of what you said before, to really learn how to make their lemonade out of lemons.
And I'm really glad that you mentioned music as well, because I associate Pisces, the sign of Pisces, with music. So being able, think about it, Meredith. Look, we should look up some of the greatest musicians and how their music in itself, even without lyrics, takes you to that deep, intimate place that takes away the boundaries, that just takes us to a spiritual world where basically that's where Pisces wants to go.
Yeah, this other world. And
yeah,
I also think these people could really discover, believe in, and even become a part of the cosmic world, the other world, the intergalactical world, life on other planets, and help others transform, through their knowledge, studies, pursuits of life out there. And I just mentioned this in my last September transits video. This is like, I'm really, really, really researching and studying aliens and astrology and how the two go together. And I can see that with this Pisces 8th house placement. So it's sort of like going where angels fear to tread, but it might be actually going where angels live.
Oh, yes. Agreed. Not to diminish any of the other signs, but Pisces on this cusp truly has the ability. I just want y'all to think about it again. Jupiter expansion. Jupiter almost doesn't have boundaries, but Neptune definitely doesn't. So when you put the two of those together and you put this intimate, psychological, occult, sexual house here, it's like the possibilities are kind of endless, Meredith, for this placement. They really are.
I think it's really fascinating. Connie, I love doing this series with you. Next time, we're going to be doing the 7th house, which is the traditional house of marriage. So you guys will have to watch that. But this was so great.
This was good.
And I just recommend everybody, please join the channel. And if you want to know more about your own chart, you can buy the starter package in my shop. Or if you've already gotten that, you could move on to your progressed package to see if you have any of those planets moving into the 8th house. And then I just can't recommend enough getting a live reading with Connie Jo, so you can really have your chart come to life in all the synthesis.
I'd love to do that.
This was wonderful, Connie. Thank you for doing the 8th house with me. You are just a gem, and I love doing this. And for everybody out there, I'm going to sign off from Seattle.
From Florida. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.